This is Meri at the Meri Atelier, and it is Friday evening, June the 5th, I believe. Welcome to my desk. And as Jacqueline would say, Jacqueline at Jacqueline's Crafting Lodge, she does a sale on Friday evenings at 4 p.m. Eastern. She says, welcome to your weekend. Welcome, welcome. And there she is. There she is. She stayed awake to come in and say hello. Hi, Jacqueline. It's good to see you. I sure did enjoy that sale today. Let's get into my channel here, to my live streams. And it says I'm live. It says I'm alive. It says I have an ad. Wayfair ad. Come on, come on, come on. Skip it. There we go. Ooh. Is everything blurry? It's blurry on my screen. Is everything, are things blurry to you? Let's see if I can increase the quality here. Advanced 1080. And of course, I don't get chat. It doesn't give it to me. Hi, Karen. Hi, Jacqueline. Are your screens blurry or is it just mine? Let me look up above here. It looks okay up here. It must just be my phone. Hello, hello, hello. It's good to see you. I missed you guys. It is clear. Okay, good. Well, I haven't been streaming much lately, and this is the last project I've been working on. And I bought lavender papers from Jacqueline today. Yes, I did. And look, lavender. Lavender. Now, I think when I was doing this is the inside cover, and everybody told me I asked your opinion, and you said to put the paper on top. So where I am on this, I might have to cut, this is Braille paper. I might have to cut this down a little. And we are going to do some interesting things with Braille. We'll come back to that if I get there. Oh. So this is all glued down, nice and neat. I got this fabric from Jacqueline, and this was a popcorn box. It's like Cracker Jack's Cracker Munch or something like that. And I'm trying to use up things in my stash. So this is just going to be a journal cover. And I started clipping the corners here to make them, maybe I folded this one first, and then this one. So I kind of have a weird angle in here, kind of like a little divot there, and I want to do the same thing over here. It's good to see you all. Hi, Linda. Hi, hi, hi. Penelope's here. It's good to see you. So let's see. I cut from the top. I'm cutting a piece like this. Probably should draw it out. So this comes here, and up this way and down this way. So it's got kind of a little mountain over here. A cliff and a mountain. And this will all get glued down, so I'm not too worried about it, except for it should probably be more even with the edge here, and then my little mountain here. And I think that happened because I cut the corner in. And don't take this as a tutorial, because I don't do tutorials. I just have fun. So I'm cutting in this way, not all the way in. And then I'm cutting straight edge here. There, and then I've cut a mountain. A mountain here. This side of the mountain. Right in here. There we go. It'll be all tucked in anyway. I think this comes down and that goes in and over like that. And I might decide I want some book corners, so I'm kind of saving these for patterns. We'll see. Now we have to do this side over here, which will be like this, which would be the cliff and the mountain. The cliff and the mountain. So let's do the cliff. And then the mountain. Let's see. The mountain comes up this way. And then down this way. The cliff and the mountain. Oh, got an ad. Hope out of chaos. Jacqueline said it's clear. Linda says hello. She's saying hello to Jacqueline and Karen. Now, since there's not very many people here, I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys I may not be on very much next week because we tentatively are going down to the lake. Woohoo! I'm looking forward to it. I know my brother's looking forward to it. So, but I will probably, I will have internet access down there. Jacqueline says, hey Linda, I sent a package to Tim. Aw, how sweet. And Jacqueline was saying how Laura Jersey is having a retreat. I wish I could go, but it's too far away for me. Jacqueline is sending them some goodies, and I thought, wow, how sweet. How sweet of her to do that. Let me clean off my brush here. My palette knife. I need to get to the Dollar Tree and buy me some more palette knives. So I'm going to, let's mark it with my pencil. Just mark it in here, because this will all get covered up. Right in there, and right in here. So I put my glue right down in there, which I'm going to use Yes Paste. Yes, paste is a bookbinding paste, and it's quite expensive these days. Didn't start out, I was still buying it when it was $38, like a 32-ounce jar of it. Now I think it's up to like $56 or $57. Very expensive. But it does go, it does last, and you can get it in a smaller quantity, but I use so much of it that... Who popped in? Allie K. Hi, Allie K. Linda says, I'll post pics on Instagram toward the end of the month. That's so sweet of you to do that, Jacqueline. And Jacqueline was taking orders for, what did you call it? A hot pen? What did you call that new tool that you're using? And she said, Mary, shh, you're getting one. And Sweet Vale gifted me one. Then she gifted me something else in the stream. What was that? She gifted me something else. Oh, I think it was a ruffle. She gifted me a ruffle. Now, I think I need some more along the edge here. If I can just kind of go along the fabric with my palette knife has glue on it. There we go. I'm liking that. And I think I'm going to fold this in a catty corner like this. And I'm just going to do this little section in here. But I want to glue. I could really trim that off. I don't need my mountains. I don't need the mountain. They're just in the way. Let's cut them off. You learn these things as you go. Get rid of mountains that are in the way. All right, and then I'm going to take my palette knife and just kind of put some of this extra glue down here. And fold this over like so. Nice and neat. And then up. And let's see if I can't smooth this out a little. I need more light. It's a little better. And then this will come up that way. Now, I may not do it all yet. I may go over and Allie K says, oh, it's a tool that John got me for Mother's Day. A hot stamp. A hot stamp. It's a tool that she got for Mother's Day. How sweet. Sweet. And she has been taking custom orders. And I wasn't sure you could do the Meri Atelier on a piece, but it sounds like you can. Most of your custom orders are one words. Let me cut this mountain off. And come this way. That corner is not quite what I wanted. So I might, I can't get to it. I snipped it a little too much. Maybe if I am careful what I do here. Some glue on this. And fold this in, but not all the way in. Like that. So I still have kind of a neat edge over here. It's kind of weird, but I may go ahead and put book corners on these edges here because they're thin enough. Some of the hardbound books I have hard covers. Let's look at chat. Jackman says she's going to do a demo tomorrow of the hot stamp. Ooh. What time tomorrow? Mary, keep an eye on your weather tonight. Yes, I know, Vale. Right now, if I look out, the sun is shining. I think it might be later tonight. I think I can make it till 10 o'clock. We've been having some stormy weather this weekend. We were going to go down to the lake this weekend, but it's been stormy and rainy, so we put it off. I said, we're both retired. We don't have to, we can go whenever we want. Yeah, so we're going to put it off for a few days. But I can still stream down there. He's got good internet. They do. And I enjoy going down there. It's like if we had to pay to stay in a cabin, you know, to like a resort area, it would probably cost us to stay 3 or 4 days. It would probably cost us $500 or $600, maybe even more. And they just invite us down and say, go and enjoy it. And so we do once or twice a year. My brother likes to fish. Did you show it today? Allie K says, I'll have to watch the replay. Mary, keep an eye on your weather tonight. What time tomorrow? I'm going to do a video tomorrow and post it. So the video, she's going to do a video, so I don't think it's going to be a live stream. Is it going to be a live stream, Jacqueline? Or is it just going to be a video that people can watch at their leisure? That's what I'm hearing. This is a little wonky in here, but I think it'll be fine. So let's do this one. And I need to be careful of my corner here. I cut that other one too close down to the bottom. Let's get rid of that. So let's cut it here. Give it some whoops, hanging by a thread. Oh, more than a thread. I didn't get it cut in here. So I'm going to take my tatting down. Let's see if I push it this way. Is that how I did that? No, I put the corner in like this. And then come this way and this way. I'm still missing it in there. Maybe if I tuck, well, I can't tuck it under. I have to pull it this way. I need to snip this a little bit more, so that when I pull this over, I think I'll pull it like, no, I've got to fold this. This is not even. I could put it like like that. And it's still nice and neat. It's not mitered like this is. So let's see what I'm doing here. I think I'm just a little bit too far in there. However, I could probably do this and fix that. Fix it here. Let's go ahead and fold this, and I'll come and fix this later. All right. Meri's figuring it out. I don't do this a whole lot, so, you know, it's going to be winging it for a while here. That's pretty sticky. So I'm going to fold it this way. And fold it that way. But see, I've got that to deal with. And when I fold this over, well, I guess I can fold it there. Let's try it. Let's put a little bit of... I think I've got a lot of my sides wiped clean. Let's try. Let's put a little bit of glue right in there. And glue that corner down. And then this will go across this way. That's pretty clean. And then this one will come this way. This one doesn't go clear to the corner. This angle kind of is about maybe 1/4 of an inch off of the corner. The corner's right here and the angle starts there. So I don't know if I can readjust. Can't do anything when I have threads hanging on my fingers. Let's see if I can readjust this. Yeah. So let's make it a little out a little further. And still have this come down this way. And then this will go in here. And this part is already glued down. So let's glue this down. So this will come down this way like this. And then this will go in like that. It's not perfect, but all the more reason to put corners on. I think I have some book corners. There's threads hanging off of this. I got this fabric. It's really pretty. It's, if you look at it, it's bees in here. These are bees, buzzy bees. Buzzy bees. Can you see that bee? Buzz, buzz, buzz. I think I have a bee stencil around here someplace too that I can use in here. Get this cleaned up in here. All right, so let me mark where this should be. Right about in here. And maybe in there. Yeah, I'll have to deal with that again. Talking to myself. Ha. Jacqueline says, thanks, girly pop. We were laughing at Jacqueline's, well, I was laughing with Jacqueline, not at Jacqueline. What the phrases that she says, like, hey girl, hey, welcome to your weekend, girly pop. Welcome to your weekend, girly pop. And then she'll say, thank you, my Meri. My Hi, Mary. And she says that's to other people too, not just me. But I was using mine. All right, all right. We'll pull this way. I might have to put some more glue on that. And here. Make it sit, behave. Behave. And this Yes Paste does have an open time. Did Laura pop in? There's that Laura. Yeah, Jacqueline's going to do a video tomorrow to do a demo of how she uses her hot stamp. So watch for that on her channel. Jacqueline, do you want to put your channel, a link to your channel in, and I will pin it for folks. And I'll tell them throughout the stream here to watch for your demo. And if you don't get it done, don't worry about it. Because I understand wanting to do stuff and then not getting it done. All right, now I'm going to glue the top down here. Well, I should probably go down here and do the bottom. And you know what I think I did? No, I'm going this way. So I need to cut my mountain off here. Let's chop the mountain down. And I'm going to leave a little snippet there maybe. We'll see how that works. It's not bad, but it's not good either. All right. Let's go ahead and fold it in there. Fold it like that. Yeah. That's not working here. Get it folded in there. Nice and neat as you can. Like that. Like that. That's pretty good for an amateur. I'm not making these journals to sell or anything. I'm not trying to be an expert of it. Let's put some glue. Put that wax paper. Let's put some glue in here. And then take this and fold it to the edge. And this needs to be glued a little better, Meri. Got strings hanging off of my hand here. I'll bet I spent 2 hours today just straightening up things in the living room, my stash stuff I have out there. I put everything I wanted to take with me, all my tatting and slow stitching and that, all in one box. Magazines to read. It's just going to be a time away. Just a time away. All right, I'm liking this. So now I'm going to mark in here, here, and down here, and pull this nice and even. I'm getting glue. And let's see. We don't want to, we just want to glue this corner. We'll come back to that. We don't want to glue clear out to there. We want to glue at an angle there. I might put the glue on the fabric. And Becky looked it up for me. I always give her credit for doing this. And this Yes Paste has what they call an open time, where you can adjust things. If it isn't right where you want it, you have time. It doesn't dry out on you right away, or it doesn't fully adhere right away to where you can't move it around. And this box is this spine. There's no gap in there. This is the sides of the box itself. I didn't cut the spine out of the box, so it bends just like that. That's the natural spine of the edge of the box. And I do like using boxes. I've got a couple boxes that if I get to it tonight, I'd like to make into what I call kit, K-I-T, kit boxes. Let's move that paper a little. Oh, let's wax papers over it. Let's glue this fabric in the corners here. Let's pull this as tight and pretty as we can. And I might have to come along the edge here and just, this will all be covered up, but it doesn't hurt to make sure that it's glued down as straight as, or as nice as you can. Let's crease that a little. Yeah. That'll all be covered up. And let's see what I have here. Needs to be pulled tight. It worked. Now this actually needs some glue in there. And this is getting in my way again. Pull this tight. And the spine in here will be covered up. I'll put a piece in here when I attach the signatures. All right, now this needs to be glued down. And I think I'm going to wait until I get my package from Jacqueline from this week's sale to actually bind the pages in here, because I got those lovely, lovely lavender pages and some yellow pages, and Jacqueline was commenting how nice the two coordinate. And I thought, oh, yay, for my journal. But I can go ahead and do the cover. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Now I need to, yeah, that's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. Got a lot of loose threads. Okay, let's do the other side. What's giving me light here? And I guess there is a reason for this paper. I like that overhead light, but it glares off of my glass. Okay, let me look at chat. Let me refresh chat. Welcome in. Thank you guys for spending a little bit of your Friday night with me. I appreciate it. There's Becky. She says, when it rains, it pours. Becky said, oh, Becky, I wondered if that was your mother-in-law that you were sitting with. Oh, Becky. Let's see what she's saying. Oh, and there's Joyce. Hi, Joyce. Let's see where Becky came in at. Jacqueline says, not a live, just a video. Jersey says, hi, Mary, and all. Linda says, hi, Laura. Joyce says, hello. Hi, Joyce. And this is where Jacqueline dropped her channel. Let's pin her message. And I do like that they highlighted this now. I noticed that in Jacqueline's stream. They highlighted the message with, this white will probably go away. Oh, I was lying to you. It's not highlighted. I thought it was going to be highlighted. This bottom message down here is Joyce's channel, linked to her channel. She's going to do a video tomorrow demonstrating how she uses her hot stamp. And let's go back up to Becky. Becky said, the funeral for Scott's mom is set for Monday. And we have our fingers crossed that Howie the cat will survive his infection, but we have our doubts. Oh, Becky, you're really going through it. Sweet Becky. I don't know if she's still here, but if you see Becky online or Allie K, if you're out there, would you drop a link to Becky's channel? You can do that faster than I can. Becky is a very talented person, and it's usually on Sundays that she and Scott would go sit with Scott's mother. Scott's mother was in her 90s, and I think it was like she was 98, something like that. She was in the upper 90s. So it wasn't unexpected. But that doesn't mean it doesn't matter. And I sure hope Howie gets better. Howie's been, Becky said that he refused to eat for a while there. They took him to the vet, and so they're hoping that he survives his ordeal. Becky said, when it rains, it pours. Take care, everyone, and thanks to all that have us in their hearts. It means a lot. Well, you are in our hearts and our prayers, Becky, and Scott too. It's not easy losing a parent. You know, it's not easy. So the funeral is set for Monday, which is the day after Sunday, a couple days away. Take care, everyone. Oh, Becky, we love you. Jersey says, oh, Becky, sending prayers and peace for you, Scott, your son, and your entire family. Now, I think Scott has a brother and a sister. I know he has a sister, and I think he has a brother. Becky's talked about them before. And, of course, healing for your kitty, Jersey says. This is where Tush came in. Hi, Tush. Welcome in, welcome in. It's good to see you. Tush says, I'm so sorry, Becky. And I've already pinned Jacqueline's sale, but if you're interested in maybe going over to Becky's channel, let me go over there. And I don't want to report it. I want to go there. Becky, and let's go to her community. And she's making some progress on her fabric swap piece. I want to work on that next week. And here's, somebody asked me about Violet not so long ago. There's Violet's mandala. Here, Becky said, rest in peace to my mother-in-law. So this is where I want to post. I'll give it a thumbs up and post. I'm going to speak it. Hi, Becky. Thanks for letting us know, and we're sending our hugs and prayers for you and your family. And she's got quite a few people responding. Becky would several times go and sit with her mother-in-law, she and Scott, on Sunday evenings. Rest in peace to my mother-in-law. Let's go back to my channel, to my chat stream. Let's see, what did Laura say? Our dear friend Ami's father currently is nearing his time to go. Ami, where did I meet her? In one of the sales. Was it at Keisha's or at Defy? I can't remember. Several years ago. And I think Ami is right next door to my state. I think she's in Iowa. I'm in Nebraska. Or that's what I thought anyway. I don't know where in Iowa. But, so, let's keep Ami in our thoughts and prayers too. My dear friend Ami's father. It's not easy losing a parent. Please keep Ami in your prayers, Jersey says. Tush says hello to Linda. Ali K dropped the link to Becky's channel. Tush says she's so sorry, Becky, and I got an ad. And what else is going on? Yeah, she's in Iowa. Is she going to be at your retreat? Your get-together, Jersey? I'll bet she is. Jersey says, I miss my dad every single day, and he passed in 2019. My dad passed in 1989, I believe. I was still at home with my parents the day he passed away. The poppies bloomed. The day he passed away, the poppies bloomed. Now this, yeah, that's right. So let's go do this. It's not easy. You love them, but you know, here's the thing. They could be here in different circumstances and be suffering, and you really wouldn't want that either. We would, if they were here, we'd want them in good health. Let's see, let's see if I can mark this. Okay, now. Did Nina come in? Oh, Sherry Van came in. Hi, Sherry. And Nina, did Nina come in? There she is. Hi, Nina. Amia's going. I wish I lived closer, Jersey. I would certainly go. Kind of too far away for me to travel at this time. But I would go if I could. Yeah, I think I'm going to wait until I get my next order from, so I may not be able to work on this for a couple weeks, because I sure want some of that lavender paper in this journal. All right, now I got sticky on that. I need to get sticky on this in here. And I need this paper over there. Yeah. And when you get sticky, you get threads. And then they refuse to come off of my fingers. Jacqueline was selling mummy fabric. She calls it mummy fabric. She's dyed cheesecloth. Called it mummy fabric. I think she had a darker brown color, or dark color, and then she had a dark green. I got some of each. I did. And I think I'm liking what's happening here. I gotta straighten it all out so it's nice and this in here, if there's a crease in here, it won't matter. Yeah. Usually the Yes paste straightens it all out. Smooths it down. Alrighty. I think I'm pretty happy with this. Let's crease this a little bit more. And there it is. I got a thread on it coming hooked onto my finger. Now, this, where's the binding part? I put up above. This will eventually be glued down in here. I might have to trim it down just a little. But this, it will be covered up with this fabric. And I'll have to cut it to size. But then this will come in. Now I'm going to have to trim this just a little because it's exactly the size of the book. So I think I want to cut about a 1/4 inch off of each side of these, the top and bottom. So let's do that. Let me put my lid on my glue. Let's see, let's go down to the bottom of chat here. LAK says, I love that it has a backlight so I can read in bed without a lamp. She says, LAK says, Kindle stopped supporting the older models, so I was forced to upgrade, and it has a backlight so she can read in bed without a lamp. That's cool. Sherry Van is here. Hi, Sherry. Mina popped in. She's saying hi to Joyce and Sherry. Mina says, what kind of a journal is Meri making? Actually, I'm making a use it up journal. I have a box that has, and I folded the signatures already to this, but I saw some beautiful purple papers from, I should have more than that, 2, 3, in Jacqueline's sale tonight. So I might take some of these papers out and put the lavender papers in. But see, this will go in, this will attach to the spine. These will probably go on. I'm going to trim the top and bottom of these so that a little bit of the gold shows. I'll get rid of this again. I'm just doing the cover tonight, Mina. Or finishing up the cover. I started it the other night. And so this fabric will cover this spine. And before I attach it in here, I will sew the signatures in. But I'm waiting for that beautiful gold and maybe the blue too, the dark blue papers. So this will kind of go like this, sort of, kind of. And then my signatures, I think I settled for 3 because I wanted room for them to, I wanted room for expansion. And I don't have a thought yet of what I'm going to do for closure or on the outside here. And basically all these papers in here in my signatures were just papers I've had around. Some of this I got from Debbie Epps, some I got from Jacqueline, some I got from Rebecca Wills, who sells on Sunday afternoons around 1:30, between 1 and 1:30. This is most likely a Debbie Epps purple paper. But when I get more purple from Jacqueline, I'm going to revisit these signatures. All right, so there's one more thing I want to do tonight on this. And I'm going to keep that out for a while, is trim the top and the bottom of this about a 1/4 inch off of each side. So let me get my trimmer. And then we're going to do something fun, I think. Or it's fun for me. I hope it'll be fun for you guys. We shall see. It just depends on what you think is fun. All right, I'm going to a 1/4 inch here. 1/4 of an inch. And there. And that didn't take too much of the, it might take more off over here, but. And this is Braille paper, and I didn't think I had any purple ink. And I have some hyacinths. I might put some more on there before I glue it down. So here's one. Let's do this side. I might do some more inking on these papers at the top and bottom. And over here. I can't wait to see that hot stamp that Jacqueline's going to be using. She's got custom orders to do. Everybody wants one. Don't miss out. All right. Let me put my trimmer back. Get rid of the scrappies here. I think I'm going to keep the little fabric scrappies. Could keep those, but that's getting a little... Let's toss them, Mary. And where's my hyacinths? Hopefully it's right here. Hyacinths. Where's that watering can? It probably doesn't matter. No, that's hydrangea, not hyacinth. Hydrangea. Becky's hydrangea. Only I think hers is pink. Oops. And what we did to bring this Braille out is we took and just lightly swiped the ink pad up and down. I'm not on my red dot. Let's get on my red dot. Uh-oh, what did I do? Come on, Mary. Get on your red dot. There we go. And I keep pulling that wax paper out, then I get that ring here on the tabletop. Let's put some more. What did I do with it? That light bothers me. It has to bother you guys. want to get it on the fabric. Let's pull this out, Meri. Be safe. So this will all be, just when I put these in, will be the end of what I do tonight. I may not work on this again until I get my order from tonight's sale from Jacqueline. But that's okay. I've got plenty more to do. I'm not lacking. We're never lacking for things to do. I really like how darker this is. Making it much, much darker. I like that. Let's do this one. See the difference? See the difference? This is Braille paper. I got it from Rebecca Wells. She sells on Sunday afternoons between 1 and 1:30. And she sells a lot of fabrics. She sells a lot of everything. She likes to make. She does a lot of makes. And she's very talented with her makes. She does beading. I've purchased a lot of her dangles. I like her dangles. There we go. We'll call that done. Well, maybe I'll put a little bit more on here. Alrighty. I like that color. It looks like Jacqueline's papers. Now, I'm gonna flip this over so I don't get any ink. There's ink on the back of here, but it's dried by now. Or maybe I'll just get out a clean sheet. This is cheap wax paper. Get it at the dollar store. It's not very waxy. I call it cheap. But it's good enough for a base. It's almost like a parchment paper, only you wouldn't want to put this in the oven. But it's got that. It's almost got a... I'll bet this would be fun to use on the jelly plate. It's almost like a deli paper. I'll bet you we could use that on a jelly plate, which I haven't done for such a long time. And let's see, I'm going to put some hand sanitizer on my hands. Yeah, getting it all over everything, Meri. They feel grimy. Let's turn this paper upside down. So you'll see wet, but the wet's on the other side. Okay. They feel grimy because I was using that Yes paste, which is what I'm going to put these on with. These. Now, the question, do I want to cover this up? I think I do. I keep losing my spine. I lost the spine. There it is. That'll go in there. This one will go in here. And then this will cover up this way, which will cover this up. But maybe after I put this on, I'll come in on this side here. That's probably what I'll do. So, the next step is to put these down, and then I'll end this one for tonight. And I'll put it right in there. Honestly. So I think what I want to do is put my yes paste on this. And I'll just get a scoop of it here and start spreading it down this way. And I think I'll just do a half sheet at a time. It's easier to place. I need just a little bit more glue. So my brother had to go to the doctor last week, and he needed to go, he bought some stump remover, tree stump remover, and he got the wrong stuff at Menards. So we had to go to Menards, and I cannot go into Menards without buying a plant at this time of the year. And I bought some sweet potato. I bought 8 bags of dirt because I needed more dirt. And I bought sweet potato because they were on sale. And I thought, well, I can put them in those grow bags. Because I took my grow bags out of the mineral tubs where I had them last year. I didn't like them there. And I got a rose bush, you guys. I got a rose bush, and I'm so excited about it. And I was so afraid that it would hail this weekend. Where's my scissors? Put that right there. I'm so excited that I got a rose bush. And what else did I get? I caught a couple little salvia plants and a rosemary plant. And that will probably be the end of my growing. I have some little seedlings I need to plant. And I got some marigolds, some more marigolds for out on the corner. I haven't checked my hostas. My hostas were looking like maybe they wouldn't survive. And you know what I'm going to do here is put the glue on the end of here. And just hold that down, and then I'll glue this in here, but not all the way down because I have glue on that. And we'll have glue in here. Now I can see where the glue is here. I can see the shininess of it. There's not glue there, but I can feel it's being sticky too. But that doesn't mean I always do it the best way. No, I didn't get enough on there. Now I want to glue the edges here. And there is glue on my knife. It's sticky. Let's do this side. Get a little bit more on my knife. All right, let's bring this down. Got a hair in my eye. Oh, I'm out of frame. Sorry about that. Let me bring it up. Is that better? A little better. I still haven't, I don't really like my camera stand. It's not not the same as what I like, but I'm living with it. All right, I think that part is done. Let's take a look at chat. Well, let me refresh it. Chat filter. All messages. Mina says, be right back. I'm going to snag a crisp, crunchy apple from my fridge. Ooh, that sounds good. I had a yellow pepper for supper tonight. I steamed it. Put salt and pepper on it and a little bit of butter. That was good. And it filled me up, you guys. Of course, no, I had for dinner, what I had was kind of light. I had a English muffin with jelly on it. It was kind of a brunch dinner, a breakfast dinner. Jersey says, that is my plan for tomorrow. I want to go buy some flowers for the hanging baskets. Oh, and you know, this time of the year, they're going on sale. I was real pleased with Menards. Their hanging baskets were like $7.95, and they're traditionally like $13 or $14. Now they're just petunia hanging baskets, but what I do is they're white baskets that are probably about 10-inch diameter, and they got the little plastic things. But what I do is I have a larger, like a 14, 15-inch hanging basket, and I'll take my petunias, I'll take and put 1.5 petunia plants. I'll take it out of the big basket, out of the white basket, and put it in the big basket, and then I'll split off the next one and fill it up, and then I'll have 1.5 for the other side. So that's done. But now I have marigold and sweet potato and a rose bush to plant. But it'll go pretty fast once you get at it. All right, let's do this. And I'm gonna flip this again because this side is sticky. And where's my other? Here it is. No, where is my paper? Hold on. There it is. It's gonna fall. And this time I think I'll glue, well, I glued half of it. Then I think I'll glue the edges here, and then, yeah. I'm glad I got some open time on this. So I'm just going to glue the half here, half of it. And that's sticky. Probably more on there than I need. Get a lot on there. You want to get it around the edges especially. And I'm going to try this. I don't know if it'll work. I'm going to glue just along the edges here. And this has an open time. Now I'm going to set this aside and turn this back around and grab this. And we can go ahead and put this sticky side down about, I think I got it about the right length there. Maybe up just a teensy bit. Maybe over. Right about there. Now I'm going to press this down. But this, even though it's got glue on the edges, I want to bring it up and put my scissors there to hold it. That's a lot of glue. But see, I've already glued the bottom of this. I'll touch it up again before I... Yeah. Do that down a little more in there. And I, for the most part, can see where I have glue because I can see the shiny. Now I'm going to take this and make sure I have glue around the edges here. If I can get some more of my palette knife. Now I think it's pretty sticky. Wipe it off in the center here. Alright, and bring that down. Smooth that out. Alrighty, I'm very happy with this. Well, I'm not so happy with that, but it looks straighter up here. Well, it doesn't. I'll see if I can adjust this. So you can adjust if you're not happy. It's just a little bit crooked. There. That's better. Well, that's going to be how it is. Alrighty. And let's put the lid back on here. Maybe I'll take this wax paper now. And I'm going to turn that light off for a minute because let's take this wax paper and put over my jar here. Keep it cleaner or softer. Make sure it's nice and tight. And let's put the palette knife back in the water. Probably should put some more water in there. And I'm pretty happy with this. Now, I'm going to keep this with it. Probably just fold it like that, but it'll go in here like so. And then once I get it all positioned and everything, I'll ink up these two edges here. Probably come over a little bit more. But for now, I'm just going to put it in here and put my 3 signatures. And when I get Jacqueline's mailing, I'll come back to this journal. But for now, I'm going to do something else. And what we're going to do is let's put this up here for now. What we're going to do is I got some Braille paper. Jersey says, that is my plan for tomorrow. Let's see what I read that one. Jersey said, is this your summer journal, Mary? You know, it's really just a journal to use up papers, scrap papers. I don't have a specific reason for it. All right, this is my most recent haul from Rebecca, and she sent some Braille papers. And I'm going to do 2 things. I'm going to take 2 sheets out here. I could actually take 1 sheet and, yeah, let's do that. Let's take 1 sheet. This is all Braille. I have no idea what it says, but we're going to see if we can figure out what it says. And I'll show you how we're going to do that. I think I'll show you. I'm not totally sure. So the first thing I'm going to do is take that hyacinth again and darken this and bring out the Braille dots. And let me put this back up here to keep that light shine. All right, so let's take the hyacinth, and not the hyacinth, it's hydrangea. And I'm not going to ink the edges, I'm just going to, and this is, Lisbeth actually told me to do this the last time I was, and see, it brings out those dots. And I want to do it very light. I'm not sure that I actually want these darker pieces, but we're gonna do it anyway. And I want to get as many of the dots as I can. And I imagine some of these are for the, they seem to go clear out to the edge here. Let's do this. Now I'm not going to do the other side, I'm just going to do this side. And it looks kind of messy right now, but then what I'm going to do is on my phone, I have, and I'm hoping that it will do this. I know it did it with the free version. Oh, it's on this phone, I think. I don't think I have it on this phone. Let's see if I do. Let's see if I have it. I'm going to look for Adobe Express. A-D-O-B-E. Oh, I just have the Adobe. What is new in Adobe Scan? That's what I want. Adobe Scan. And it's probably looking for a document. It's trying to find my document. So what it will do, it will scan this. And I've got this, I moved this out of the way, didn't I? Let's put this back over here so it covers up that light as much as possible. And let me stand up. And you'll see a part of this. I don't know how much of it you'll see happen, because this is a fairly large sheet. But I'm open to Adobe Scan, and I'm putting it like this. And it says it's looking for document. And see where those blue dots are? I don't know if you saw the blue dots. The blue dots frame the document, and I'm going to do Save PDF. Saving as a PDF. Okay, now I think I can rename that. File is still uploading. Please wait. Okay. Converted this scan into an editable Microsoft Word document. All right, we're going to go look at that, but not right now. I want to see if I can rename this. It's a JPEG. It's been saved to your photos. Let's see if I can. Page has been saved to your photos. Well, let's see. Photos. I don't really use my photos that much. Let's see if I can find it here. That's my YouTube. Should be in here. Google Maps, Google, YouTube, Meet, Photos. Allow photos to access, well, allow all, I guess. Get started with backup. No, I don't want to do that right now. I can't get out of it. Let's turn that off. Continue without backup. Right now I don't want any notifications. And I saved it in here someplace. Thursday, April 16th. Setting up something here. Let's go back over to the scan. Let's let that work. Adobe Scan, June 5th, 2026. Is that the name of it? Share, save as a Word document, save as JPEG. More. There we go. There's more. So, I'm going to hopefully copy this. Let's see if I can copy it. Copy it to... well, I don't know if I want to copy it. Let's go back to those three dots. Can I rename it? Export, sit, pet, compress, edit, fill and sign, modify, rename. I'm going to name it something that I can understand. I'm going to put Braille 1. B-R-A-I-L-L-E space 1 space. Braille 1 Adobe Scan June. That's enough. Rename. All right, now I want to do the same thing on the back, but we don't have the ink on it. So I'm going back to my, let me stand up again. Get this. As straight as I can. And I'm going to get out of my photos. I'm going to get out of my YouTube. All right, now I'm going to come back in. And I'm hitting this Adobe Scan icon is what I'm hitting. And as I hit it, you can see those blue dots on the screen at all four corners. It was looking for the dimensions of this page right here. And I'm going to leave this at. I'm going to save it. And now it's saved it, it's uploading it. And I think it uploads it to Adobe. I don't like the idea of it doing that specifically, but for my purposes, I don't do anything that, I mean, it's probably private area, but you never know. I like to keep my art on my channel. But I'm not criticizing it because I don't know enough about it to criticize it. All right, so let's go to the more. And let's see. We renamed it. Let's rename it Braille 2. B-R-A-I-L-L-E space 2 space. And it'll be June 5th. So we're going to rename it. And I think that renamed it. Now let's go. I'm going to see if I can. Whew, I'm warm in here. Let me turn this fan toward me. Ah, that feels good. Now I'm going to see if I can find it in my files. I should be able to. I'm just going to look for Braille. So here's my file cabinet. And where's the search? Here. I'm going to look for the word Braille. B-R-A-I-L-L-E. Oh, I didn't find it. I didn't find it. Maybe I need to save a copy. Oh, I got B-R-A. Well, isn't that what I named it? Well, right here, recent files. We can open it with, let's see, can we open it in our gallery? Yeah, there it is. So what I want to do, hopefully, now this is what I don't know if it's going to work. I'm going to set this out of the way. What I want to do is go to ChatGPT. And we're going to see, I asked it before if it could read Braille. So let's just start up. I'm going to invite, our members have started calling ChatGPT Arnie. AI Arnie is his nickname. And let's see if he is listening to me here. Hey, Arnie. Can you read Braille for me if I upload a JPEG? And he's reading that. He says, absolutely, Meri. Look at it. No. I was hoping that I could get him to talk back. I still am trying to learn how he talks back, but I'll read what he said. And I always ask him a question. He gives me a big, long answer. He says, absolutely, Meri. If you upload a clear JPEG of the Braille page, I can try to read it. A few tips to improve the chances of success. Lay the Braille paper on a flat surface. Well, we did that. Use good lighting. Well, I tried. From the side so that the raised dots cast small shadows. Take the photo straight on, not at an angle. Well, I tried to do that. We'll see what he can do with what I'm going to send him. If the page is large, close-up photos of sections are often easier to read than one photo of the entire sheet. If you're using Adobe Scan, that's fine, but sometimes a regular camera photo with the visible shadows actually works better for Braille. So we might need to go back just using a camera. Once you upload it, I'll look at it. Now, this is what I found interesting when I asked him this before. It says whether it's standard, literary Braille, or something else. He said, once you upload it, I'll look at it. And then he's got some pointers. He's going to determine if it's standard literary Braille or something else. He'll be able to tell whether it's embossed on one side or interpoint both sides. Well, I already know by feel that it's on both sides. Any text that I can decode, any tactile graphics or diagrams if present. And if it turns out to be an art piece rather than a document, which I kind of doubt, but we never know what's on that page. Only blind people can see it, or people that know how to read Braille. We can explore that too. I remember you mentioned that these came from an art sale. So it could be anything from a book page to a teaching sheet to an artwork. I really don't think it's artwork. It could be a teaching sheet. It feels like it came off of a computer because it has sprockets. See, it has sprockets. Well, it only has it on one side, so maybe it was part of a book. So this is the side. This is the side that I inked. He might have trouble with that. And this is the side that I can see a lot of shadows right here. I don't know if you zoom in, you can probably see them. He says, and if it turns out to be an art piece rather than a document, we can explore that too. I remember you mentioned that these came from an art sale, so it could be anything from a book page to a teaching sheet to an artwork. Go ahead and upload the JPEG whenever you're ready. Well, I'm going to talk to him. Arnie, what I have here is I lightly inked one. It's a double page. It's got Braille on both sides. And I inked one side, just taking an ink pad and swiping over it to try to bring out the shadows. It does have some dark spots on it. I don't know if that's going to deter what you can read or not. But on the other side of this paper, and I have two JPEGs I'm going to upload. On the other side of the paper, I didn't do anything to it. And as I look at it just here on my desk with just looking at it, I can see the shadows of the dots. I don't know if it's the ink soaking through or if it's just the lighting in here, but I can see the dots on the page, and I know, of course, I can feel them tactily. So I'm going to go upload both sheets, but I wanted you to know what you were looking at before I uploaded it. So to upload it, what I do, whoops, get out of my microphone. What I upload it is I go to photos, because it's JPEG, and I'm just going to select and select. And you can preview them. I'm not going to preview them because I've already looked at them. And you put done. And when you put done now, he's looked at them already. There they both are. Now let's see. Oh no, he hasn't looked at them. I put a part of that conversation above. He's reading it now. That white dot means he's trying to look at it. And he'll tell me if he can do it or not. He's coming back with something. He's reading it. That little white dot is pulsating. He says, thanks for explaining what you did, Meri. That helps a lot. Looking at the image, I can definitely see the Braille dots, but I cannot reliably translate the text from this scan alone. A few things are working against us. The ink has made the dots visible, which is good, but the ink smudges and dark blotches are obscuring some cells, and I kind of thought that might happen. The image appears to contain impressions from both sides of the page, making it difficult to tell which dots belong to the line being read. The resolution is good, but the individual Braille cells aren't quite distinct enough for me to confidently separate character boundaries across the whole page. What would help most? Upload the second JPEG, the uninked side. If possible, take a close-up. Oh, I can do that. Photo of just 3 to 5 lines of Braille. Use side lighting, a lamp off to one side so that the raised dots cast shadows. Well, I do have my light over here. Maybe I can put it at an angle. A regular camera photo is often better than a scanned image for Braille because the shadows reveal the dot pattern. One thing I can tell already, this looks like a genuine embossed Braille text rather than a tactile graphic or art pattern. Well, I suspected that. The spacing is very regular and resembles a page of continuous prose. So my recommendation is upload the other side, then upload one close-up section about postcard sized from whichever side looks the clearest. Once I can see smaller sections clearly, I have a much better chance of determining whether it is English Braille or whether it's literary text, and possibly translating line by line. Now, he uses the term English Braille. I'm going to ask him about that. He says, I'm intrigued now. I want to know what the mystery document you found at that art sale. And then he put some little Braille dots on there. So, can you tell me the difference between what you called English Braille and I think you said literary Braille? What is the difference there, and how many different types of Braille are there that we need to learn about? That's a great question, Meri. He even remembers my name, Meri. And it gets into a whole little world that most sighted people never realize exists. When I said English Braille and literary Braille, I was talking about two different ways of classifying Braille. Language is English Braille. The language English Braille. This simply means that the Braille is being used to represent English, just as print can be English, Spanish, French, and German. Braille can also be written in many languages. The dot patterns are adapted to the language being used. Isn't that interesting? For example, English Braille, Spanish Braille, French Braille, German Braille, Arabic Braille, Hebrew Braille, Chinese Braille, Japanese Braille. So English Braille answers the question, what language is this? And then 2 is the purpose, literary Braille. This answers a different question. What kind of information is being written? Literary Braille is often ordinary reading and writing. Think novels or letters, magazines, stories, poetry, textbooks. If a blind person checks out a mystery novel from the library in Braille, that is literary Braille. Well, I should have realized that. Other specialized Braille systems. Besides literary Braille, there are specialized codes, math Braille. For mathematics and science, things like fractions, equations, algebra, chemistry, and calculus. A blind student studying algebra would use a different set of symbols than those used in a novel. One common system is called the Nemeth code. That's Nemeth. And then he says there's music Braille. Musicians can read music through Braille. Instead of letters and words, the dots represent notes, rhythms, rest, and dynamics. A blind person may read sheet music entirely in Braille. I find that fascinating. Computer Braille, used for email, programming, and websites. Computer commands. Isn't that interesting? This often needs symbols that ordinary literary Braille doesn't use frequently. I'm going to come back to that one. Tactile graphics, not technically a Braille code, but related. These are raised maps, diagrams, charts, illustrations. A blind person can feel the image. Remember when you asked whether blind people can see pictures in Braille? Well, this is how they do it. They aren't reading dots as letters. They're feeling shapes and textures. Old Braille versus modern Braille. There's another wrinkle. For many years, English Braille used contractions. For example, one Braille cell might mean an entire word, such as and, for, the, with. This made books much shorter. Historically, these were called Grade 1 Braille, uncontracted. Grade 2 Braille is contracted. Today, many countries use a standardized system called Unified English Braille. Boy, this is really interesting. Which updated some rules and symbols. What might your page be? Just looking at your image, my first guess is English Literary Braille, and I would tend to think that too. Probably a page from a book or a magazine, an educational text, or religious publication. Why? It appears to be continuous paragraphs. I don't see the unusual spacing that often appears in math. I don't see obvious name notation patterns. It looks like ordinary prose. Of course, there's only a guess until we get a cleaner close-up. I'm going to try to get that to him. One thing that fascinates me about your art sale find is that it could tell us something about wherever it came from. For example, if it's a novel, we will see narrative sentences. If it's a church publication, there may be scriptures, references, and if it's a school text, there may be lesson headings. If it's a music Braille, the pattern will look very different. When you upload the second page, we will be playing a little detective game. And honestly, I'm curious enough now that I want to know what's on that page as much as you do. Isn't that fascinating? I love the education that I get from just saying, you know, I know nothing about Braille, you know, and he's given me an entire lesson on Braille. I want to ask him a question. You actually mentioned two areas that I caught while reading your text. And I was thinking, you talked about the differences between math Braille and music Braille and English prose Braille or another language in Braille. So what if it's a textbook and it has, let's say it's a math textbook, and it has both written words or Braille words and math? Or I guess I'm asking, can they be combined? Can the Braille symbols be combined, or do they traditionally parse all that out into different sections? Now he's going to answer me. Yes, they absolutely can be combined, and that's actually the normal situation in many books. Think about a printed textbook. A math textbook isn't just equations. It contains exclamations and explanations in sentences, chapter titles, examples, word problems, equations, tables, and diagrams. Braille books work much the same way. A blind student might read something like, solve the following equation using literary Braille, and then immediately encounter x squared plus 3x equal 10, written in a math code such as the Nemeth code. That Nemeth code must be interesting. The reason the reader switches codes as needed, much like a sighted person switches between reading words and reading symbols. How does the reader know? Well, Braille uses indicators. Think of them like road signs. A special symbol may announce, math starts here, math ends here. Computer code starts here. This is a foreign language. This is capitalized text. So the reader isn't left guessing. Music is even more interesting. Suppose a music theory book says, play the following melody, and the sentence would be literary Braille. Then the actual music notation would be switched into music Braille. Isn't this fascinating? I think what a blessing to people that are blind to have this type of a system to where they can read like we read words on a page. They're reading dots that mean something to them. And what an education it might be. I would imagine, I'm kind of out of my text now, but I imagine a lot of you have had contact or know somebody who's blind who reads Braille. I'm not going to finish reading all this because he goes on and on. I'll read the last paragraph. He says, now you got me wondering whether those pages from the art sale come from a novel, a school book, a church publication, or something completely unexpected. Sometimes the paper itself gives a clue. For example, if we find page numbers, I'm trying to see if there would be any type of heading. It feels like there's a heading up here, but it's hard to tell because I do feel distinct. It's got to be a text of some sort, but I'm wondering, I don't feel like a separate area for numbers in here as I run my hands across it, but there has to be. This could be the title up here, and maybe I don't feel a page number in there or on the corners where you expect them. I feel something in here, but it's more of a longer sentence than on what I would think would be a number. if we find page numbers, chapter headings, and repeated formatting patterns or odd symbols, identify what kind of Braille book it came from before we translate the words. All right, let's see what you guys are saying, because I was reading from Arnie. This is really interesting, Allie K says. Hi, Brenda. Brenda says, I need some Braille paper. At least I think I need some. Well, you might get in touch with Rebecca Wells if you really want some. She might have some. I don't know if she's got any left. Allie K says, wow, that's really cool, Lisbeth. I didn't know you could get Martha Stewart's magazines in Braille. Lisbeth said, once I bought a Braille copy of Martha Stewart's magazine at a thrift store. Wow, that is cool. Could you imagine? Allie K says, he really listens. He's really smart. And Vanessa popped in. Hi, Vanessa. We're asking, we've nicknamed our ChatGPT, or the one I'm using, we nicknamed him Arnie, and we're asking Arnie if he can read Braille. And he's kind of given me a lesson in Braille. Vanessa is Angel Rose Designs. She says, hi, Crafty Angels. Let's see. Is that... Oh, that's Laura Jersey. Is Crafty... No, that's Crafty Bubble. Who's Crafty... Oh, she's just calling everybody Crafty Angels. I'm going, who's Crafty Angels? Let's see. Lisbeth popped in. She says, hello, everybody. Happy Friday. And we're back to where Jersey asked if this was the journal I'm covering. I was working on my summer journal. And really, that's just a use-it-up journal. So, while I was reading this, I lost track of what I was going to ask him. Oh. So, Arnie, my microphone called him Ernie. Let me erase this. So, Arnie, can you tell me a little bit more about what you're saying is computer Braille? How does that work? Is it still on paper and related to programming languages, so to speak, like a textbook, a computer language textbook? Let's see what he says. He said, that's a fascinating question, Meri, because computer Braille has changed quite a bit over the years. When most people hear computer Braille, they imagine a blind person reading a computer screen. But there are actually two different situations. Situation one, computer information printed on paper. Suppose that you had a Braille textbook from the 1980s teaching basic programming. That's kind of what I thought it was. A sighted student might see basic, 10, print hello, 20, go to 10. I understood that command perfectly. A blind student would need to distinguish letters and numbers and quotation marks and spaces and punctuation, special computer symbols. Ordinary literary Braille wasn't always precise enough for that. For example, in a novel, it may not matter whether there is one space or two spaces. In programming, it can matter a lot. So special computer notation systems were developed to represent code exactly. How fascinating is that? A Braille computer textbook would contain literary Braille. This program displays a greeting, followed by computer Braille, 10, print hello, and then back to literary Braille, which is the explanation. So what he's saying is a computer Braille is more adaptable to a computer language that a novel may not be able to represent in Braille. Situation 2, modern computers. Today, many blind people use devices called refreshable Braille displays. And he shows a keyboard. Oh, isn't that interesting? It's a Braille keyboard. Isn't that interesting? Oh, there's several pictures here of the Braille keyboard. I don't know if I can, yeah. Look at that. Isn't that interesting? Now this looks like it might be more dots and dashes representing. So let's see what he's saying. These have tiny pins that move up and down electronically. Oh, wow, tiny pins constantly as the user reads. Oh, wow. A blind programmer might literally read Python, HTML, or Java code through those moving dots. So I imagine these are the little dots that move up and down, which represent symbols or literary words. Why computer Braille became necessary. Programming languages use lots of symbols. For example, Python. If X, and it has 2 equal signs, 5, and then it has a colon, print hello. So X is probably representing some object out there is equal to 5, so some number. If X is equal to 5, then print hello. A sighted person immediately sees parentheses, quotation marks, and color, equal signs, and indentation. A blind person must be able to identify every one of those symbols accurately. Computer Braille systems therefore became very exact. In some ways, they were closer to reading sheet music than reading a novel. An interesting comparison. Imagine that you are looking at one of your journal pages. You might have handwritten text, a decorative capital letter, a sketch, a date stamp, and a piece of washi tape. A sighted person instantly recognizes all of those visual elements. A programmer's source code is similar. Every symbol carries meaning. To a programmer, Python equal, and it's got a, whoops, I can't, there we go. Python equal, I don't see anything else. And Python, and then it's 2 equals, are completely different things. Computer Braille has preserved that distinction perfectly. I'm wondering what 2 equals mean. I know what an equal sign is. I show my ignorance and ask him. There are clues we would look for. Repeated number signs and lots of punctuation symbols, parentheses, slashes, equal signs, unusual spacing patterns, short lines. A novel usually looks like a long block of prose, and that's what I feel here. This has to be some sort of a novel or maybe a newspaper. It looks like it came out of maybe out of a textbook or a journal of some sort, because it has these sprockets over here. Programming text often alternate between prose and code. And then he goes on and on. And he ends it here and says, now I'm curious whether whoever donated those pages knew what they were, or whether they simply saw interesting textured paper and so did his art materials. And my guess is most of us see it as interesting patterns, dot patterns on a paper, and we use it in our art. So now what I'm going to try to do here is go to my camera, and let's go to my camera here. Now I'm going to set my phone down, and he'll probably get unless I can block out part of that. Let me get back into my chat here. Let's take this book cover and put it, get everything out here. And I'm not sure, yeah, you can kind of see. I'm going to try to block it over here. Now it looks dark, but I'm going to take my hot lamp and turn it. Whoops. Whoops, let me unscrew my... Are you guys still with me? Let me turn off the... I have to unscrew the base of my lamp. Hold on. Usually it comes right off. This time it's not. Well, no, it is... Hold on. I gotta stand up. Because I'm gonna... My cords are... I gotta hold on to the base of my... Yeah, it's underneath of my camera stand. I'm moving you guys around. I apologize. I want to put this... There, it came off. I want to put it at a angle here. Put this back over here. And let's open this up and see if we can't shed some light. Now let me turn my camera and let me get this more. It might work better to... He needs a good light pattern. And my light is... Now, you're just seeing the top of the lamp here. I'm wanting to situate this. Maybe, can I put this up all the way? Hold on. This is the best. My cord is very short, so it's not cooperating with me. And my lamp here is very loose, so that's not cooperating. And let's get it under. Now he's gonna see it at an angle. Can you guys see dots? And then when I take the picture, I'm gonna take it this way with my phone. Put my camera. Are you gonna stay? Yeah. Now, he wanted me to zoom in. I'm at 3x here. And he said to get a close-up. Oh, there. Now, some of these dots may have ink coming from... Let's get another clean sheet. I didn't ink on the other side. I have a clean one in here. That is cleaner. Can I pull this out without... do the tablecloth thing here? And... let's see if I can turn this a little more. So you see the shadow of my hand there. I wish I could. I really need a better setup here, but I'm doing my best. So let's grab, see where my sprockets are. I am really zoomed in. So I'm going to grab the, what I got here. I want photo. And I got my shadow. And let's bring it down a little. And then I'll just send him the top part. And I might zoom in after I... All right. That was a little hard. Now, let's see if I can get the entire sheet. It would be more shadow going on here. All right, that's probably about the best I can do with my current setup. Let me adjust this lamp. And I think I can put the base back on it. Hold on. Well, I don't need to right now. I can just set it on a flat surface. See, this light fits in that little sprocket there. You guys may know what an light is. I've had this for years. And I need to move Penelope out of the way. Alrighty. And we'll put the base on it after chat. And let's put all this back. I really kind of suspect that he needs more than I can give him tonight. But what I might do is send him the Adobe scan. But then he said that even photos do better than Adobe scans. And I'm talking about not the PDF, but the actual scan thing. Well, I don't know if you see me here. Hold it, where am I reversing? All right, so I want to go to my library here. And here's the postcard view, and I'm going to edit this. So see, I got shadow down in there, but he said postcard size. So I think he can see the dots there. I could expand it a little. And I'm going to just show the, well, I don't think I got the sprockets on that. I'm going to send him this and see what he says. So save. And then this one right next to it. Let me go there. Come on. Well, maybe I need to get out of it. This one right next to it. I'm going to edit that. And this is the full page. That's where I got the sprockets. And I'll leave a little bit of the and save that. Now let's go over to chat. And I need to go back into Arnie. Reading Braille from a JPEG. Before I send the pictures, I want to explain to you that I'm sitting in my desk in a dimly lit room. Well, it's not dimly lit. I have lamps all around me, but it isn't like I have a beautiful lighting setup. I was able to take an light and kind of shine down on it, and I'm hoping that it shows some of the dots enough that you can figure out, at least I'm guessing that it's what you call literary English, novel form. But I as I run my fingers across it, I don't feel a special page number. I feel something that might be a heading, but it feels like it's more part of a text line. And the postcard size is probably more like 5x7 to you. And I zoomed in on it to like 3x. So I don't know if it's going to be much help, but I did take it with my camera phone. So, okay, I'm going to send them now. Where's the other one? Hold it. Oh, there were two of them. And this one. Done. So now I'm sending it to ChatGPT. And I'm going to see if he can sense any of the dots on here. And did I send it? There, now I sent it. And he's working on it. His little white dot is pulsating there. Let me get this covered up over here. Okay, these phrases are actually much more useful than the ink scan, Meri. So that was interesting. A couple of observations right away. This definitely looks like a real Braille text page and not a tactile graphic or music score. The lines run continuously across the page like paragraphs, and I could feel that. I don't see the obvious spacing patterns that would make me immediately suspect mathematics or computer code. The paper appears to be embossed on both sides, and that's called interpoint Braille, and I would agree with that. It's pierced on both sides, which is why you're seeing dots and shadows from the opposite side. The binding holes on the left suggest it may have come from a Braille volume that was spiral bound or mechanically bound. Well, that makes sense. My best guess at this point is still an English literary Braille or ordinary prose. That could be a novel, a magazine article, a textbook chapter, a religious publication, a biography, or almost any other running text. I'm hoping he could tell me what it says. The close-up is helpful because I can see the Braille. I got something on my screen. I can see the Braille cells more clearly or more distinctly, but not quite clearly enough to decode the individual words with confidence. So I'm not giving him enough of a clear picture that he can actually read it. A Braille transcriber would normally want a very crisp image where each dot position within a cell is unmistakable. What fascinates me is something you mentioned. I don't feel a special page number. That's actually a useful clue. Many Braille books place page numbers in a specific locations, often at the top corners. Well, it doesn't feel like there is something up there, but it feels like a word because it starts right in here and it goes over to here. It feels longer than what a page number is. If you're not feeling a page number, you're feeling what seems like continuous text near the top. This might be a middle page from a chapter, a magazine article page, or a section where the page number is elsewhere in the volume. As for your earlier question about computer Braille, imagine finding a Braille programming manual. If I saw things like lots of isolated symbols, unusual spacing, repeated punctuation patterns, and short code-like lines, I would suspect a programming text. This page doesn't give me that feeling. It feels, visually speaking, much more like prose, and I would agree with that. Here is something you can do with your fingers that I can't do from the photograph. At the very top of the page, feel the first few lines. Ask yourself, does the first line seem shorter than the lines below it? I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. Does it seem shorter? And it does. Like, okay, right here, I have maybe about 2 inches, and the first dot starts right there. And it goes clearer. I can feel dots clear over to here. But then the next line, well, it feels like there's a space in here in the upper left corner. And the next line starts in here and goes over. The next line, about the same. But then down in here, it goes I can start feeling right there. But when I get to here, I actually feel the first dot there. So I would say the first 4 lines might be shorter and still extend to the right. They seem to be all the same right margin. Let me talk to him. Get my text in there. I'm actually following what you told me to do, is to feel the lines at the top of the pages, and you asked me if they were shorter. Well, what I feel at the top left is maybe about no dots. Well, actually, there are some dots at the very top, at the very left margin. That might be the page number, because I feel space around it. I'll bet that's the page number. And then about 2 inches across and maybe about 2.5 inches down, I don't feel any dots. But right at the very top of that rectangular space where there are no dots, I do feel dots at the upper left corner, which tells me that's a page number. Then about maybe 2.5 inches down, I don't feel any dots. But 2 inches across at the very top, I feel dots going clear across the page from 2 inches in to over to the right margin. Maybe it ends about 1/2 inch before the end of the paper. So there's a 1/2 inch margin. And that happens about that same 2 inch space over at the left-hand side of the paper. Then about those lines at the very top, I would say maybe about 4 lines. It could be 3, depending on how you read all those dots. But down at the bottom, from the top left-hand side, there's no dots at all for about 2 inches, maybe 2.5 inches down. But then it starts going clear across the page again. And it goes maybe, I think it goes clear down that way, clear down to the bottom. So it feels like it's text from the left margin to the right margin, all the way down. There's a little bit of white space on the left hand, maybe 1/2 inch. On the left hand, like there's 1/2 inch of where there's no dots. So those feel like page margins to me. And he didn't hear all that. Let's see what he heard. You guys heard it, though. Oh, he did. Did he hear it? No, because if you have multiple consecutive lines, your chances of identifying the source go up directly. Okay. Let me explain again to what I feel. And I lost my microphone. Okay, what I'm feeling on the page, at the very top left-hand corner, I feel dots. And that, to me, says it might be the page number. And if you go down from those dots about 2 inches down, you don't feel any dots. 2 inches across and 2 inches down is a flat area. No dots. I don't feel dots. But at the top of that area, let's call it 2.5 by 2 area there, there are dots at the very top, which make me think it's a page number. Then as I go across the page at the very top, starting about 2 inches in, I feel about 4 lines of dots. I'm just estimating because I don't know where the lines are realistically. But it feels like 4 lines of short text. And over to the right-hand margin, they all end at the right margin. There is 1/2 inch of space on both the left and right-hand side, which there's no dots, which tells me it's the page margin. Then going down about 2 to 3 inches down from that left-hand corner where there's just space, except for at the top, which feels like a page number, the lines get longer, about 4 or 5 inches down. And as I move my page from my hands across the page from left to right, I feel dots all the way down the page, which tells me that there's consecutive, some type of Braille, which happens clear down to the bottom of the page, even the last line, except you have maybe a half of an inch of margin at the very bottom. So let me send that to him. Meri, what you're describing is starting to sound very much like a real book page, rather than a worksheet or a music page or a reference chart. That's what I think. Let me think through your tactile observations. The top left corner, you said, I feel dots at the very top left-hand corner, and then about a 2-inch area below that with no dots. That's exactly what I said. And this is exactly the sort of thing that is expected if the page has a page number, a running header, a chapter indicator, or some publication information. So he's saying this might be a chapter heading up here. That's what he's saying, where these shorter lines are, or all these other things. Braille books often leave larger blank areas than print books because the readers need room to orient their hands. The short lines at the top, you said, about 4 lines of shorter text, all ending near the right margin. That's what I said. That catches my attention. In print books, a chapter might be chapter 7, The Secret Garden, followed by blank space and then the text. I feel maybe a line of blank space there, right across here. So I'm thinking he's getting that this is a chapter heading and a subtitle, and then it's starting with all the text in here, followed by blank space and then the text. In Braille, headings often occupy multiple short lines. So that's what it is. This is the heading up here. I agree with that. So the 4 short lines could be a chapter title, a section title, a poem title, a book title, an author, or a running header. Then the lines become long. You said 4 or 5 inches down, the lines become much longer and continue all the way down to the bottom. That's what I said. And that sounds exactly like heading, blank space, body text, which is one of the most common page layouts in books. What I don't hear, and I don't hear signs of, mathematics, computer code, music notation, tabular data, forms, or worksheets. No, it's all dots in there on this. Those usually have unusual spacing patterns. Instead, you're describing something that sounds like continuous prose. Here's the funny part. At this point, your fingers are actually giving us better information than my eyes. He doesn't have eyes, but he means what he could see off of that photo. A skilled Braille reader would learn a tremendous amount simply by feeling where the blank spaces are, finding indentations, locating page numbers, notating centered headings, observing patterns and structure. It's all about the texture. It's all about the texture. And I find it so interesting that all those little dots mean something that we can't see. I just find that terribly interesting. You're already doing a beginner version of that detective work. My current working theory, if I had to place a bet right now, I would bet 80% chance literary Braille from a book or an article. 10% chance textbook chapter, 5% chance religious publication, 5% chance something else. The reason I separate textbook chapter from book is that textbooks often have section headings exactly what you're describing. One experiment you could try: take both index fingers, find the very first line of data after that big blank area. That would be right, well, that would be right here at the top. And then compare it to the next few lines below it. Ask, is the first line centered or is it shorter? So what I'm doing is I feel a dot right here and over here. Now if I go below, I feel just a little bit of space, but then down here, from here to where my thumb is, I don't feel anything. From there to there, this is blank space. And I feel text all there. I feel text all to here, text all to here. Then, no, I feel text in there. I feel text here. I'm calling it text. I feel dots. But then when you get down to here, I feel like there's a spacing in there. I don't feel the dots right in where my finger is moving. But above it, I feel text. So I do think this might be a chapter title or some sort of a heading. I wish he could read it to me. He doesn't have enough lighting to be able to read the dots. I'm wondering, I wish I could take a picture of this and send it to him. Hold this right up close to my phone like that. Can you guys see those dots? It might be kind of hard for, oh, there we go. Look at that. I wish, here's what I'm going to do. Hold on. I might bump out of chat for a minute. I'm going to try to do this. Oh, hi. I'm going to try to do this. And let's see. I'm going to bop out of chat for 1 minute here, I think, and take a picture. I'm not sure. I wish I could do this with my phone. Let's see. I want to get into here a little bit better. Let's see if I can do it here. I don't want the camera. I gotta stand up. Now, if I could just, I'm gonna get out of all of this. And this is my camera. Get back into that. Turn it this way. And I think I want full screen. Do I have full screen here? I'm zoomed in. Let's go to portrait mode. Photo. That's what we want. Photo. I get more area here. Now, if I could just, I need 3 hands. I need to be able to, I hope I'm not boring you guys. Let's see if I hold it this way. I can see the dots in here. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take a video because I can do that on my phone. Let's go to movie. He can read movies. All right, and I'm going to go up in to here. Let's go right up into these 3 dots. See, these are the 3 dots that I'm talking about up there. Now I'm gonna, this may be kind of jiggly. I'm moving across the page here. Oh, got some, I need some light. There. And then let's go back here. He might be able to pick up some words. Because I can see the dots pretty good when I do this. It gets a little darker over on the right-hand side. I don't know how I can get that light. He probably loses it in there. I'm closer to the light. No, there. I think I have to tip my camera when I get over on this side. And let's see if he can pick up any words on here. Even if it's just a couple of letters, it would be interesting. Maybe he could say, tell us what this is all about. Not that it's a big deal. I mean, you know, this is for fun for me. And then we'll go down to the bottom here. Maybe he can pick up some words in this. All right, I'm going to end it. Now, I think this is in my library. Oh, let's go out of that and go into my gallery and see what I have. What do I have here? Is that the movie? No, that's not, yeah. Yeah. I don't know if he can read this movie or not, but I can see the dots in there as it's moving. I'm thinking that I need to rotate it. But I'm going to send him this and see if it makes any sense to him. Let's go back to chat. Go over here, go into reading Braille. Okay, so I did a little bit experimenting with taking a little video of the page as I ran my camera across the page. Now, the first part is kind of jiggly or kind of out of frame because I was trying to find my way on the page. But I moved my camera slowly from left to right. And you could see the dot patterns, but I'm not sure if it's clear enough to you to actually read. Even if you could pick up some words, if we could understand what this might be saying. It might be interesting, or it may not. You may not be able to interpret it at all. But let me go ahead and send that movie and see what happens. Just understand that it's very amateurish. Let's go to video. And I think it's this one. And it's processing it. Let's see if it gets the whole thing. There we go. And I'll send that. Let's see what he says. He's trying to read it. I'm sorry about my camera being all out of whack here. He's still working on it. We have picked up a new hash code as I talk to Arnie here in when I'm doing other things. When I run into a YouTube problem and YouTube isn't doing what I'm asking it to do, the AI, we call it YouTube panic. Don't send YouTube into panic mode, Mary. Yeah, he's still trying to read it. Let me read chat while he's working on it. Let me refresh my chat. Chat filter, top messages, chat filter. It's after 10. No, it's after 9. It's almost 10. So after he reads it, I'll probably go ahead and sign off. Let's see. Allie K says, cool, Brenda. Brenda says, on Amazon, I just found a Braille slate and stylus kit to write Braille. I could make my own Braille paper for $12.99. Wow. How cool is that? Show on camera, then on another phone into stream. Rewind and take the screenshot. That might be a good idea. Let's see what he says. Mary, I took a look at a frame from the video. The good news is the video helped confirm that the dots are real Braille cells and that your sidelining idea works. The bad news... The bad news is the camera is just a little too close. Oh, I got too close to it. The camera is just a little too close and a little too out of focus for me to reliably identify Braille characters. So first, it's not casting enough shadow. When I try to get the shadow, I'm getting in too close. What I see looks a bit like this. The raised dots are visible. The shadows make the cells stand out. But the dots blur together just enough that I can't confidently say that's an A or the word the. For Braille, one misplaced dot completely changes the character. So I have to be very careful not to guess. Well, good for AI. He's not guessing. What is interesting is the video actually supports our earlier theory. Continuous lines, regular spacing, no obvious mathematical layouts, nothing, no music notations, no computer code layouts. Everything still points toward ordinary prose. Here's a trick that might work surprisingly well. Instead of photographing the whole page or moving across it with a video, put the page on the desk, shine the lamp from one side, and hold the phone about 8 to 12 inches above the paper. Well, I think I was doing that. Tap the screen to focus on a small area. Take a still photo of about 2 to 3 lines of Braille only. Think postage stamp size rather than page size. Braille decoding is a bit like reading tiny handwriting. A small sharp image is basically far better than a large blurry one. Another clue from what you told me, you said that there appears to be a postage stamp, a possible page number at the upper left, several short lines near the top, then a long continuous line below. That layout is starting to make me wonder if this might be the beginning of a chapter rather than a random page. I think so too. Not certain, but the structure fits. And I will have to admit that this is turning into a fun little mystery. We may eventually discover it. A novel, a religious book, a book text, a biography. All right, then he goes, oh, here we're at the end. At this point, we're doing what historians sometimes do with damaged manuscripts. First, figure out the structure of the page, then try to figure out the words. And thanks to your tactile observations, we've already learned quite a bit about the structure. It'd be nice just to have a blind person read it to us, wouldn't it? Thank you, Arnie. I think if I had a better lighting setup, I'm just kind of sitting at my desk area and I don't have really good lighting. But this has been fun and I've learned a lot about Braille that I didn't know. So thank you very much for your patience and for giving us an idea. I do agree with you that I think it's a book page, a text page of some sort. It'd be nice to know what it says. But I guess we need a real blind person to read it to us. And I'm not concerned about that right now. That doesn't bother me that I don't know. I just wanted to explore this with ChatGPT. What I'm understanding is, in order for AI to read these, we need to give it really good information. And a photograph just randomly shot really isn't enough information for an AI to read it. It's very interesting. I have one more question before I leave, and that is, you talked about there being Braille on both sides, and what do you call it, interpoint or something? So is this, how is what's on the reverse of the page? How do they put texture on both sides? Does it say different things? The page is quite thick, but I'm wondering how they get, because on the upper left-hand corner, when I flip the page where I don't see space, I see dots there. How in the world would they do something like that? Get dots on one side that don't match the dots on the other side of just a thin piece of paper. Not a real thin, probably cardstock size. See what he says. You're very welcome, Mary, and I think you came away with exactly the right lesson. It isn't that AI can't read Braille. It can if the image is clear enough. So I'm not giving it a very clear image. That's on me. It's more like trying to read a handwritten letter through a foggy window. Every dot matters, and if one dot is blurred, then A can become a completely different character. Honestly, for a first experiment with a mystery page, I think we learned quite a bit. Now to your last question, which is a good one. Yes, the two sides say different things. What you're feeling is called interpoint Braille. Imagine a carton of eggs. If you punch a pencil into the bottom of the carton, you can create a bump on one side and a dent in the other. Braille works similarly. When a Braille embossed presses a dot into the paper, one side gets a raised bump and the opposite side gets a depression. Well, I can understand that, but how do they say different things? The trick is that Braille on the back side is carefully positioned between the dots on the front side. Wow, how would they figure that out? Think of a checkerboard. If the front side dots occupy the black squares, the back side dots occupy the white squares. Man, how would they figure that out? Not literally, but that's the basic idea. Why don't they collide? Because Braille cells are surprisingly spread out. Well, that's interesting. That's how they figure it out. And Braille cells only has 6 possible positions. Oh, look at that. Let's hit that. So there's I can't expand it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's a little rectangular area there. The data are small and they're spaced between the cells. So when the backside is embossed, the machine places those dots where there is room between the front side area. The paper is thick enough that your fingers can distinguish the raised dots from the back dots. Well, you know what? I want to get in here and look at the positioning of the dots. The paper is thick enough, I read that. That's why you notice something interesting. You said on one side, I feel a blank area in the upper left corner, but when I flip the page, I feel dots there. Exactly. That strongly suggests that the two sides contain different text. Perhaps on one side there is page 42, chapter 7, The Hidden Door, while on the reverse side the same area might contain a completely different text from another page. The layouts don't have to match. Why do this at all? Because Braille books are enormous. A printed novel that takes 300 pages might require several thick Braille volumes. Oh, wow. So if only one side of every sheet were used, the books would be nearly twice as large. Interpoint printing cuts the bulk dramatically. A fun comparison. Imagine that one of your journals, suppose that you wrote on the front of every single page but left the backs blank. Well, I've done that before. Your journal would need twice as many pages. Braille publishers face the same problem. So they figured out how to print on both sides without making the dots unreadable. I find that very interesting. It's actually a pretty clever piece of engineering. It really is. And one thing I enjoyed about this little adventure is that we approached the page from two directions. You used your fingertips and I used the photographs. Neither one of us could fully read it, but together we could infer quite a bit about what kind of a document it probably is. That's a surprisingly Braille-like experience. Actually, Braille readers are constantly gathering information from both sides of the text itself. So even though we never solved the mystery of the words, I think we solved the mystery of the object, and it is very likely a genuine interpoint literary Braille page from a book or similar prose publication. And that pretty neat discovery from a box of art sale paper. Okay, well, thank you for all that information. It's after 10 o'clock here, and it's time for me to end my stream. I hope that my viewers found this as interesting as I did. I just find all of this information interesting. I learned so much from a little piece of paper that looks almost blank to me until I start feeling it. I'm going to sign off now. Thank you. And he'll end it here. He says, Meri, you are very welcome. I think your viewers probably learned something too. We started with what looked like a piece of textured paper from an art sale. And he was calling it an art sale because I said I bought this paper from Rebecca and I called it an art sale. And by the end, we had talked about literary Braille, math and music, computer Braille, and he goes through all what we talked about. And I think you're right, with a proper lighting setup and a high-resolution close-up, perhaps a few more experiments, we could get a decent character that AI could read. As for your mystery page, my final guess remains a genuine interpoint Braille page. So I'm going to get out of chat. He's no longer listening to me. I want to try one more thing. I want to go to Adobe. And I don't want this. I want to... No. Where is that stored? Here. on one of these, on this one, I think it has to be while I'm reading it. Let me go take a picture of this. I want to do one more thing before we leave. Let me hit the Adobe scan here and see if it can. Now, let's see if it can translate what's on here. Retake, crop, rotate, edit, filters. Let's save the PDF. At one point, it was able to, it's still uploading it. It was able to translate a French book for me. And I'm not sure just how it did that. Copy to device, copy to Ask AI Assistant, export, combine file, set password, compress, open and edit text, fill and sign, modify, scan, rename, move, print, delete. Create an overview. Pro tip. Oh, it can't do it with Braille. Adobe can't translate. It says this file is in a language that's not supported. Try a different file. So Adobe can't read. That's what I'm inferring. Adobe can't read this either. I was hoping, because I took a picture of a French magazine that I had gotten from Pearl, and it actually translated the French for me, which I found very interesting. So I want to thank you guys for putting up with my chatter tonight. I found this very fun. Brenda's saying good night. Good night, Brenda. She says, I could write secret messages and put them in journals in plain sight, and no one I know would know what it says. Brenda's getting sneaky. Oops, got an ad. Brenda was talking about, she found a kit where and a Braille slate and stylus kit to write Braille. I could make my own Braille paper. I find that cool. Ali K is saying, show on camera, then go on phone into stream, rewind, and take the screenshot. Oh, that's interesting. Ali K is saying, show this, show it here, and then do that. Wait, I'm out of my, let me put this phone. So she's saying, do this. Something like this, Ali K. Show this. Except let's go to this side. Show this. And he only wanted a little. He could probably read the numbers there. This is what I think is page numbers in here. Oh, you know what? This, oh, I said didn't feel like Braille. There are dots there, but I think that's from the other side here. Because I feel raised areas here, and these in here are not raised. And that's what made me think that they were spaces. So I really do think this is a space in here. It's debossed, it's not embossed. And over here is where it starts with the embossing. And this has to be a page number, because I can feel it right there. So I think that's what Ali K was telling me to do. And then after my video process it, go and snap some screenshots and send over to him. I will do that, Ali K, if I understood you correctly. Brenda said good night. I think I'm all caught up with you guys. I hope. Oh, Christina was in here. If you're still out there, Christina, hi. Lisbeth said no need to head out. We'll listen to replay. Oh, she says she needs to head out. Yeah. She's trying to get ChatGPT to transcribe her Braille paper. Yeah. Oh, it's Lightstar. Hi, Lightstar, if you're still listening. Is it in Braille? You could also try editing the contrast. Oh, that's a good idea, too. Learning so much tonight, Allie says. That is my thinking when I go into crafty chats. Vanessa says, Mary, I call everyone crafty angels because that's what I think of them when I go into crafty chats. This is really interesting, Mary. Okay. Well, I've only got 9 of you left in here. I go down these things that do not interest everybody, but I find this just fascinating. Not only that, Braille paper is really fun to use in art. So I'm going to say good night to you all. Thanks for putting up with me. Thank you to everyone who stuck with me through it all. Have a great week. Don't forget, tomorrow is Saturday, so I don't know who comes on tomorrow. I was thinking this was Sunday night. It's Friday night. Have a great week, everybody. The weekend's here. Go enjoy it. Bye.